Of 2024, and we'll be starting with international relations. Now, Mercosur. Recently, Bolivia became a full member of Mercosur. About Mercosur or Common Market is a trading bloc in South American region. It was formed in 1991 by signing of the Treaty of Oskin. Headquarters is in Montevideo in Uruguay. Members are the original members. They were Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay, and Uruguay. Bolivia and Venezuela joined later, though Venezuela has been suspended since December 1st, 2016. Now, the objective is to promote economic integration, free trade, and movement of goods, services, people among member countries. It is the fourth largest integrated market after European Union, North American Free Trade Agreement, and Association of Southeast Asian Nation. So first is ASEAN, second is NAFTA, third is first is European Union, second is NAFTA, third is ASEAN, and fourth is Mercosur. Now, India and Mercosur signed the Preferential Trade Agreement in 2004. Now, Colombo Security Conclave. Colombo Security Conclave members recently signed the Charter and MOU to establish a CSC Secretariat in Colombo. Now, about Colombo Security Conclave, that is CSC. It is a regional security grouping. Originally, it was called Trilateral on Maritime Security. It was established by India, Sri Lanka, and the Maldives in 2011. It was rebranded as CSC in 2020. Permanent Secretariat is in Colombo. Member countries are India, Bangladesh, Maldives, Mauritius, Sri Lanka, while Seychelles is an observer nation. CSC brings together NSAs and deputy NSAs of the member countries. The objective is to enhance regional security by addressing transactional threats and shared challenges among member states. Now, areas of cooperation are maritime safety and security, countering terrorism and radicalization, combating trafficking and transnational organized crime, cybersecurity and protection of critical infrastructure, humanitarian assistance, and disaster relief. Now, expansion. The BRICS foreign minister recently held their first meeting since the group expanded in 2023 to include Egypt, Iran, UAE, Saudi Arabia, and Ethiopia. Now, about BRICS, the acronym BRIC was first coined by British economist Jim O'Neill in 2001 to refer to the emerging economies of Brazil, Russia, India, and China. BRIC began operating as a formal group on the sidelines of G8 Outreach Summit in 2006. Russia hosted the first official BRIC summit in 2009. BRIC became BRICS with the inclusion of Africa in 2010. Now, in 2023, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and UAE joined the BRICS. An invitation to join was also extended to Argentina, but it was declined. Now, major initiatives of BRICS: the new development bank, headquarters is in Shanghai, and the contingent reserve arrangement were established to provide mutual financial support. Since 2011, the National Institute of Statistics of BRIC countries have produced an annual joint publication to compare methodologies and statistical results. The BRIC Science and Technology Innovation Framework, that is STI, program was launched in 2015. It has helped scientists and researchers collaborate and share findings to better address COVID 19. So, SIT was important from this of COVID 19. Now, BRICS payment system. The BRICS nations are working towards establishing a payment system that can serve as a substitute for the SWIFT payment system. SWIFT, which is essentially America's payment system. Now, significance: the expanded BRICS include major emerging economies representing about 41% of the world's population and 28% of the world global GDP. BRICS Plus represent close to 45% of the world's oil production capacity. Now, European Council. The Prime Minister of India recently congratulated Antonio Costa on being elected as the next president of European Council. Now, about the European Council is part of the executive of the European Union besides the European Commission. Headquarters is in Brussels, Belgium. It was created in 1974 as an informal forum for discussion among the heads of states or governments of the EU member states. It acquired formal status and the role under Treaty of Maastricht The main aim of European Council is to provide impetus and general political guidance for the European Union. The members of the European Councils are the heads of states of or the government of the 27 EU member states, the European Council President, and the President of the European Commission. It usually meets 4 times a year, but the President can convene additional meetings to address urgent issues. The Council generally decides issues by consensus. Only heads of the state government have the right to vote. No other function, it addresses complex or sensitive issues that cannot be resolved at lower levels of the intergovernmental cooperation. It nominates and appoints candidates for high profile EU roles, such as those in the European Central Bank and the European Commission. It sets EU's common foreign and security policy, considering EU's strategic interests and defense implications. Now, Pacific Island Forum. The annual meeting of the Pacific Island Forum was held in Nakola, the capital of Tonga. About the Pacific Island Forum, it is an intergovernmental organization established in 1971. It comprises of 18 member states located in the Pacific region. The vision is to promote peace, harmony, security, social inclusion, prosperity in the Pacific region. The organization discusses key issues at its annual meeting where member states make decision by consensus. The decisions are implemented by Pacific Island Forum Secretariat. Now, Resolve Tibet Act of USA, the US Congress has passed promoting a resolution to Tibet China Dispute Act. About the Resolve Tibet Act, it is the third major US law on Tibet following the Tibetan Policy Act TPA of 2002 and Tibetan Policy and Support Act TPSA of 2020, aiming for peaceful resolution of Tibet China dispute. Now, key provisions of the Resolve Tibet Act authorizes fund to counter Chinese disinformation about Tibet, including its history, people, and Dalai Lama, disputes China's claim that Tibet has always been a part of China, urges China to engage in direct talks with Dalai Lama or his representatives to resolve the differences. It supports Tibet's right to self determination, highlighting China's obligation under two international covenants, the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights and the International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights. Now, differences with the earlier acts. The new acts updates the TPA of 2002 by clearly defining the area of Tibetan Autonomous Region. TPA 2002 accepted China's claim that Tibet is part of China, while RTA 2024 challenges this. The TPA and TPSA called for constructive dialogue between China and the Dalai Lama, whereas RTA demands dialogue without preconditions. Now, axis of resistance. Hamas leader Ismail Hayyan was assassinated in Tehran. Experts believe Iran could increase attacks against Israel, though its allies through its allies of axis of resistance. Now, Axis of Resistance is an informal alliance of Sunni and Shia Muslim groups and governments in Yemen, Syria, Lebanon, Gaza, and Israel, Iraq, with varying levels of connections to each other and Iran. It is named after former US President George W. Bush's use of the term axis of evil for Iran, Iraq, and North Korea. The root of this alliance dates back to 1979 Iranian revolutions, which brought radical Shia clerics to power. Now, members of the Axis of Resistance include Hezbollah, which is a Shia militant group, Hamas, which is a Sunni militant group based in Gaza, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, PIJ, a Sunni Islamist group in Palestine, Houthis, a Zaidi Shia group in Yemen. Now, UK India Technology Security Initiative. India and United Kingdoms have launched India UK Technology Security Initiative. The aim is to strengthen collaboration in critical and emerging technologies across key sectors. The TSI builds upon India UK Roadmap 2030 coordination. The TSI will be overseen by NSA of both countries, with progress reviewed biannually by Deputy NSA level. New bilateral initiatives will be launched to boost cooperation among government agencies, tech and research centers, industry, academia in areas like telecom, critical minerals, semiconductors, and quantum technology. Now, the Court of Arbitration for Sport, CAS, has upheld the decision to disqualify Vignesh Fogart from the Paris Olympic for exceeding the weight limit of her participating category by 100 gram. Now, Court of Arbitration for Sports. It is an independent body. It is an independent body that resolves sports related disputes through arbitration and mediation. It has about 300 arbitrators from 37 countries, all experts in arbitration and sports law, handling around 30 cases annually, 300 cases annually. CAS procedures are usually conducted in French or English, but other languages may be used under certain conditions. Established in 1984, CAS operates under the International Council for Arbitration for Sports (ICAS), based in Switzerland with offices in Sydney and New York. Now, the function is legal dispute resolution. That is, CAS resolves sports related legal disputes with decisions enforceable like court judgments. Mediation services. CAS can help resolve disputes amicably through mediation when allowed. Now, special tribunals. CS sets up tribunals for major events like Olympics, Commonwealth Games with event specific rules. CS handles various sports related disputes, including commercial, that is, sponsorship, and disciplinary issues, example, doping. Any individual or organization involved in sports, such as athletes, club, federation, and sponsors, can bring cases to CAS. Parties can choose the applicable law, but if not, Swiss law applies. Decisions are based on the relevant sports body regulation, with the law of its home country as a fallback. Now, some to the point, Saint Martin Island. Reports have claimed that US wanted to establish a military base in Saint Martin Island of Bangladesh. About Saint Martin Island, it is situated in the northeastern region of Bay of Bengal, right over here, northeastern region, near the border between Bangladesh and Myanmar. It is Bangladesh's only coral island of Bangladesh. It is located 9 kilometers from the southern tip of Bangladesh's Cox's Bazar, Teknaf Peninsula. This would be the Teknaf Peninsula. It is located 9 kilometers from the southern, that'll be, in the 18th century, Arab merchants settled on the island, initially named it Jazeera, and later changing it to Narikel Jinjira or Coconut Island. In 1900, British India annexed the island during a land survey, naming it Saint Martin Island after Deputy Commissioner of Chittagong, Martin. Now, Kursk region. Russia declared emergency in Kursk region. About Kursk region, it is in the western part of Russia, bordering Ukraine to the southwest. That will be the Kursk region. The basin of Dnieper River, that is CM, Pesel, and Don rivers are located on this territory. The main type of soil is Chernozem or black soil. Chernozem is black soil. This would be a important name over here. The region has prospected deposits of iron ore, phosphorite, peat, building materials. Now, Phuan Techno Canal Project. Cambodia has launched 1.7 billion Phuan Techno Canal Mega Connectivity Project. About the Phuan Techno Canal Project, the project seeks to link Cambodia's capital Phnom Penh with the coastal town of Kep, situated on the Gulf of Thailand, through a 180-kilometer canal. This connection is facilitated by a Basak River, also known as Hoang Gian River, a crucial tributary of Mekong River. Now, currently, shipping from Phnom Penh travels through Vietnam Mekong Delta to ports near Ho Chi Minh City. The Phuan Techno Canal will offer Cambodia an alternative route for sea trade and reduce reliance on Vietnamese ports. This canal project is part of China's Belt and Road Initiative and will be built with Chinese support. So here is Phnom Penh, this is Cambodia, this is Thailand, and here is Phnom Penh, and it will be connected to Kem. Now, Operation Sadbhav. India has launched Operation Sadbhav to provide humanitarian assistance to Laos, Myanmar, and Vietnam. About Operation Sadbhav, the operation was launched following the disaster caused by Typhoon Yagi. Operation Sadbhav is part of India's broader commitment to humanitarian assistance and disaster relief in ASEAN regions, aligned with its long standing Act East policy. As part of its mission, India has pledged $1 million in aid to Vietnam and $1,100,000 to Laos. That'll be all for this video. Moving on to security in the next one.